Welcome back to day 2 of Let's Rank Marvel. So let's cut the bullshit and get straight to the list. Number 35, Ghost Rider. Call me crazy, but in 2007, when I saw this movie, I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the other comic book movies at the time, but I enjoyed myself. Then I grew up. It's not very good. As usual, Nicolas Cage is the best part of this movie. He's over the top, he's zany, he's unintentionally hilarious. But the worst part of this movie is that it's forgettable. Nothing was spectacular, nothing was interesting, and nothing had me running back to watch the film again. Looking back, neither Ghost Rider film was good, but they made their budgets back, so they weren't flops either. Number 34, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I've never been a big Fantastic Four fan, but I knew the characters, some of the villains, and the Silver Surfer. After the alright 2005 big-budget adaptation of the FF, I was interested in seeing more. So along comes mid-2007, and underwhelmed was a good word to describe me after leaving the theater. The build-up to this movie was nothing spectacular, but it was on my radar, and I was excited for it. Like a lot of the other pre-MCU films, this movie was just okay at best, and atrocious at worst. Yeah, I hated that Galactus was a cloud, and I hated Jessica Alba in the role, but the Silver Surfer was cool, and Chris Evans does a great job. I'm glad he stuck around to play another comic book character later in his career. Number 33, Fantastic Four, 1994. This movie barely makes it on this list because it's barely a movie. But what is there is surprisingly good. The 1994 FF is a case where the actors put their heart and soul into a project. The film was made just to hold on to the rights to FF, so a low-budget piece of shit was filmed in a hurry. The cast wasn't privy to this information, so they treated it like it was a big deal. However, their enthusiasm isn't enough to save this film. It's laughably bad in many parts, the effects aren't special, and the cinematography is first-year film school at best. The suit for the Thing, though, is quite impressive, and Dr. Doom has never been portrayed more accurately on film. Those positives aside, the 94 Fantastic Four film is a bad film, but an enjoyable one. Number 32, Fantastic Four. In 2005, the Fantastic Four was given a big-budget theatrical film, and the result is the best Fantastic Four film to date. But that's not really saying too much. I remember having to hunt this film down at a local budget theater because 20th Century Fox had a rights dispute with my local theater chain. After leaving the theater, I didn't feel cheated, but I wasn't moved in the same way that Spider-Man 2 moved me the year prior. FF is a product of the early 2000s, and it carries all the positives and negative elements of the then contemporary filmmaking. The film looks alright. This was the era when the CGI characters were getting quite good, but just not perfect. A great scene to showcase the CGI shortcomings is when Mr. Fantastic stretches his arm underneath the door to unlock it. The arm looks just like rubber. CGI rubber. Looking back, it's crazy to think that this film came out at the same time as Batman Begins. Number 31, X-Men: The Last Stand. The X-Men trilogy started off with a bang and ended with a whimper. In many ways, this is the film that was the beginning for many of the problems that plagued the Fox Marvel lineup until Deadpool. Too many characters, no respect for the films that came before it, and no reverence to the source material. I don't enjoy this film at all. Number 30, Hulk. When you think of the Hulk, what comes to your mind? Big green monster who fights monsters, right? Well, how about an abused child who fights his abusive father in the desert? Yeah, Ang Lee's Hulk is not a good film, or an action-packed epic like the later MCU incarnations. It's a boring, overstuffed piece of shit that should be the king of the dollar bin at your local Target. The only thing that this Hulk has going for it is the sexy, and did I mention sexy, Jennifer Connelly? Maybe it's a shallow reason, but whatever, I like her. The rest of the cast is solid. Eric Bana is a good actor who does a serviceable job with the material. The Hulk does look cool, although he's too big and the comic panels are a nice touch, but they're kind of distracting from the overall feel. Number 29, Daredevil. What happens when one of Marvel's best characters gets a rushed film that's trying to capitalize on the success of Spider-Man? You get Daredevil, the 2003 stinker starring Ben Affleck. Daredevil is a bad film in the sense that it tries, but it fails. It's not lazy, it's just stupid. What it is, though, is enjoyable and well-meaning. Visually, the film is very interesting. Daredevil's powers are portrayed on screen in a very unique way, and Daredevil's movements across Hell's Kitchen are quite stunning. The costume isn't anything spectacular, but this was Fox, and all superheroes that weren't Spider-Man wore leather. The other character designs range from to bad. Thankfully, the legacy of live-action Daredevil was saved. If I was including the Netflix shows on this list, Daredevil would be firmly planted at number 3. Number 29, X-Men Origins. This movie ranks this high on the list because it contains a lot of good ideas. Just garbage execution. I liked the backstory of Wolverine and his participation in many of the historical wars. I liked the whole X-Factor task force. I liked Deadpool the best. I'm just fucking with you. I'm not a Deadpool fan, but they really, really screwed up back in 2009. Thankfully, Deadpool got another shot at the big screen, and you'll be hearing from him again soon. Number 27, Blade 2. I missed Blade 2 in theaters. I missed it on its initial DVD release. I missed it for more than a decade, but when I saw it, I thought it was pretty good. It picks up with Blade in Europe hunting the vampires. This time around he encounters other hunters, and they face a greater threat. The action is ramped up, the cast is beefed up, and the vampires get fucked up in all sorts of ways. I'd have paid good money to see Blade vs. the Twilight Vampires in 2010. But the best we got was that meme online. Number 26, X-Men Apocalypse. The most recent X-Men film is the weakest out of the current trilogy. As usual, we get McAvoy, Fassbender, and Lawrence back, but they're not able to carry this franchise anymore. I personally have never thought they were that fantastic. I always preferred the original X-Men cast. And in this film, we even have more replacements for the originals. The new Jean Grey is bad, and hideous. The new Cyclops is dumb. The new Storm is alright, and Psylocke is really, really hot. The villain is stupid, the plot is lame, the effects are terrible, and the fun's all but there. Quicksilver makes his return, and this time, I like him even more. I do feel the filmmakers relied on too much from what worked in the previous film, but I guess you always go with what works. But I can't fault them for that. So, that's it for day 2 of our Marvel movie countdown. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for more awesome content every couple days. Also, if you like what we do, head over to incarnate-studios.com and pick up a t-shirt. It helps support the show, it helps support our videos grow, it helps everybody involved. So we'd really appreciate it. It'll make your friends laugh, it'll make your family laugh. Hell, get a gift for somebody for Christmas. I mean, we got something for everybody. Games, TV, movie, you name it. So, that's it for day 2. Come back tomorrow for more of our list, and thanks for watching.